everyone. This is Austin here with you on a Saturday. It's June 19th. I have so much to offer you today in terms of information, content. Going to go back in history. We're going to dig up dinosaurs. But we're going to talk about the seeds of thought, number one. The seeds of thought. And as you check in here this morning, grab a moment. Check in with yourself here. It's June 19th. It's 9:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am here with you. Good morning, Carrie. This has a lot of content in it and a lot of noise sometimes, but we're going to press on through because that's what we do, don't we? We just keep moving. And in the background, we got a dinosaur. Some of you may have seen this. Oh, look, the sun coming up over there. So we got all kinds of good stuff. I'm going to introduce a gentleman to you this morning that some of you may have heard, you may not have heard. So I'm going to talk about that and the seeds of thought. The power of a singular thought. Our brains are complex, aren't they? Good morning, Lisa. How are you feeling? Please tell me some good news. Tell me something good. Come on, tell me something good. Okay, there's a gentleman who was born in, I want to say 1899. Let me check my dates here. 1899. His name was Maxwell Maltz. First of all, isn't that a great name? Maxwell Maltz. The interesting thing about Maxwell Maltz is he became Dr. Maxwell Maltz. That sounds like a normal story, right? Doctor, okay, he's a doctor. It's interesting. Now it's getting more interesting. But what's more interesting, he became a cosmetic surgeon, born in 1899. Now, I didn't dig up the history of cosmetic surgery. I'm sure it goes back to rudimentary roots, if you will. But anyway, still, I believe becoming a cosmetic surgery in the early 1900s was probably a pretty bold thing to do. So that's what he did. An interesting thing happened. He wanted to help people. So he became a cosmetic surgeon. And as he began to help people, what became clear to him is that people had a self-image problem, irrespective of what was happening cosmetically. Some people would have cosmetic problems, but their self-image would be high. Some people would get their cosmetic surgery done, but it would improve their self-image, but it still didn't go cover the root. So he created this system called psychocybernetics, which was really has an interesting name. And inside of psychocybernetics, he believed that self-image was the key. The people's self-image, that if we can begin to see ourselves maybe as we are, because a lot of times, most of you listening to this, you don't give yourselves enough credit. Listen, I know, because I beat that drum for a long time. Let me just say good morning, first of all. And by the way, if you haven't done so, check in with yourself, okay? We're talking about seeds of thought. We're talking about Maxwell Maltz, Dr. Maxwell Maltz. We're talking about psychocybernetics. And we're going to be digging up some dinosaurs. And also, today is a noteworthy day in history that I'm going to hit on that too. So there's a lot of stuff I'm bringing with you this morning. But first of all, check in with yourself. Let me know how you're doing today. And as we're talking about the seeds of thought, what thoughts did you wake up with this morning? We're going, oh, I don't want to get up today. Oh, I got like, let's keep it real. How did you wake up this morning? What thoughts? Because by the time you get to this video, you've already had thousands of thoughts. Isn't it true? Isn't it true? Haven't you already had thousands of thoughts by the time you got here? And how many of them are good? The research says not many. So let's grab something today and let's start to move your thinking. So before I continue, I want you to grab one positive thought. Could be about yourself, could be just one positive thought, and I want you to share it. One positive thought, that's it. I just want one. And please share it. What you share, you keep forever. What you keep, you lose forever. Share one positive thought right now. Type it in. Type it in. Oh, amen. Thank God, Lisa. I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, so glad to hear that. Sending you lots of loves and prayer. Lots of love and prayers. Loves and prayers. Like, I'm not actually sending you loves. That'd be like sending people to your house. No, sending you lots of love and prayers. And I'm glad to hear that. Do not exaggerate or minimize yourself. Live to your highest level. Thank you, Mandy. Mandy always brings something of value. Carrie, what do you have to say? Please share something. Let me continue on. Inside of Maxwell Maltz's work, he had an interesting way of deliberating language. And if you look at the word cybernetics, it's an interesting word. And what it means is the science of communication and automatic control systems in both machines and living things. So that's the cybernetics. And then psycho, of course, we've heard the word, it has a lot of connotations, but it relates to the mind. So imagine, think about that. Systems of the mind. Systems of the mind. And inside of this psycho-cybernetics, he created a thing called a servo mechanism. He coined it a servo mechanism. And a servo mechanism, if you think about it, it's just what it sounds. It's a mechanism to serve, to deliver, to allow something to come to fruition. So he believed that your goals would be attained through the power of a thought. And the goal would be achieved without intervention if explicitly communicated to your servo mechanism. Imagine it like this. Today, I'm going to send a butler to your home. How many like that? Yeah. Or a butler or a maid, whatever. And whatever you tell the butler or the maid to do, they'll do it. No questions asked. Make me breakfast. Make my bed. Take me shopping. Okay? In some sense, that could be a servo mechanism in the form of a human being. But imagine each one of you, each of us, we have that inside of us. We have the ability to deliver a command and have the command come to fruition and be delivered. That sounds great. So I can just command anything and it'll happen? Yeah. Yeah. Within reason. You're not going to shoot up to the moon with your own legs, although who knows? Some of you are like, yeah, I've already done that. But if you think about this, what's the problem then? What's the problem or the catch? What's the catch? There's always a catch. The catch is we get in our own way. We get in our own way. It's like saying to your butler, go make me breakfast. Come back here. I'm not sure what I want to eat. Go do this. I'm not sure. It's like this. If you think about it, if you pay attention, if you think about it, there's this constant in ourselves. I want to, but I suck. I want to travel, but I don't have enough money. I want to change my career, but how am I going to do that? I want to get into a relationship, but they're painful, right? So the problem is we clutter up the command with past programming that's not helpful or past or emotions that rise up in us that thwart what the servo mechanism wants to do. You have a purpose. You were meant to grow. You, including myself, we all do it. We get in the way of what we truly want to be, do, have, give, feel, and or experience in this life. Are you feeling me? We're all guilty of it. Let me just grab some shares here. And I got some quotes, got dinosaurs. We got a notable day in history. We wake up thinking, we wake up thinking Lisa, I'm so happy to hear this. My blood pressure is lower today. Do not exaggerate or minimize yourself. Live to your highest value. Thank you, Mandy, for just giving Lisa some love here. So glad to hear it. Give yourself permission to identify what makes you on fire, alive, and act upon it. Most of us, see, we live in silos. I got to do this or I got to do this. Make life an and proposition, not an either or. See if you can play with it. Like, right? See if you can play with these limitations that you put on yourself all the time. We all do it. All the time we do it. I shouldn't say all the time because that's not true, but we do it a lot, right? Yes. Oops. Got all kinds of shares coming. Yes, you can. Love that. The catch is we don't prioritize what's truly important to us. Now, I'm going to jump back here. Let me grab your shares and I'm going to jump back. Yeah, the catch is we don't prioritize. Love that we clutter up the command center of the brain and deflect our highest purpose because we have these other sets of things, emotions, past hurts. And I'm not like, it's not, it just is. We're human, we're alive, we're living. It's okay if you got hurt. It's okay, if a relationship failed. We can get up again and we can still begin to become aware and okay, I can send a command. I can move in a different direction today. Thank you, Mandy. Appreciate that. What if you don't know what to give a command to? I don't know what to command it. I don't know what to tell my butler or my maid to do. I don't know. Then here's the beautiful thing. Ask a question. Send a question in. What do I really want? What fires me up? What makes me excited? What have I done in the past that I felt alive? Ask the question that leads to the command to clarify the command and then re-deliver the command, or as Maxwell Maltz says, explicitly deliver the command to your servo mechanism. Maybe drive some emotion behind it and let it get etched into your psyche, into your brain, into your mind, into your psychology, so that you can move forward. Now, let's talk about some quotes. Before I do that, I got some quotes I'm going to finish up with. But let me talk about today. It's Juneteenth. Today is Juneteenth. So in the U.S., I think it was 1861, I want to say. We have to get the year right. But Union troops arrived to Galveston, Texas, to announce that slavery had been abolished. The interesting thing here that this date, this noteworthy date, is everything for equality is a stepping stone, because there wasn't a switch, because the Declaration was independence was written, and it said all men are created equal, but therein lies the paradox and the hypocrisy that even when as Thomas Jefferson wrote the document, he had a slave. Think about, isn't this ironic when you think about this? Now, he writes this document, all men are created equal. He has a slave. And then almost 100 years later, we're abolishing slavery. This has been a long process. And that's why people are so, it still runs deep. But today, Juneteenth, it was another noteworthy day that this Union troops. Now, the interesting thing is Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, I want to say 2 years prior to 1865. Sorry, 1865. In 1865 was June 19th. This is when the troops arrived to Galveston. 2 years earlier, Lincoln had scripted the Emancipation Proclamation, but the problem was communication was bad. Number one. And number two, they didn't want the slave owners in Texas. Maybe they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to give it up. So it took Union troops to get there to make this happen at that time. And as we know, the story still continued over time. But it's a noteworthy day in history to honor. And I'm standing here. I can't deny this. Some of you have seen this before. I'm in Haddonfield, and this is a dinosaur, of course, right? And in 1858, this was the world's most complete dinosaur skeleton unearthed anywhere in the world up to that time. It was right here in Haddonfield. So they made a replica of it. It's right here. And it's really cool. It's a great little tourist attraction here for a small town. See if you can see it. Yeah, you think you can see it? Can you see it? Yeah. So there it is. So it's hard to imagine where you look at this thing and say, this thing walked here, somewhere around here. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if you got up and you walked downtown, and you're like, I'm going to go get some coffee, and you saw this, you'd be like, oh, whoa. But they walked, right? They were here. We know that. Okay, I'm going to grab your shares. I want to share some quotes from Maxwell Maltz this morning to kind of put a cherry on top of this morning's Meet Me in the Morning. If this is moving you and somebody needs to hear this, please share it with them. I don't tag people in this. I don't heavily promote it. My intention is to put great value out there and trust that people will share it, because that's how I'm going to grow this right now organically. I just want to create value for you and get you thinking better, get you more aware, get you more conscious, get you thinking better. Okay, let's get back to Mr. Maxwell Maltz. Incredible guy. He said this: the self-image is the key to human personality and human behavior. Change the self-image and you change the personality and all behavior. It begs the question, what area do you have a low self-image? I had some self-esteem issues. Many of you follow me. I know I had some self-esteem issues. And it still comes up every now and again. But when you're consciously aware, you can get over it quicker. And it doesn't linger. And you step into your power. And it does create the contrast that we need to overcome. We need that contrast to be overcomers. And I wanted to share this quote from Maxwell Maltz because it piggybacked on our, I think it was yesterday. You make mistakes. Mistakes don't make you. See, we make mistakes and we become the mistake. Oh, I screwed up. Back in 1985, I made a dumb mistake. I said something to that person. And when there's an emotional charge, it stays with us. But you make mistakes. Mistakes don't make you. Please hear that. Low self-esteem is like driving through life with the handbrake on. I did that for many years. That's why I say in the Flashpoint message, I took the long road, but I'll still arrive on time. And so will you, my friend. Especially if you're chiming into these videos, I believe you will be moved by these just by showing up. Sometimes just by showing up makes a difference. I heard what I needed to hear here. I got the message. I'm going to think higher of myself. I'm going to send the right command. I'm going to ask the right questions to get the right command, to clarify what I need to hear, to plant that seed. I'm going to let the emotions pass away. I'm not going to let them drive me back. I'm going to continue to move forward. The servo mechanism guides us towards goals by itself. No intervention, no intervention needed when we explicitly state it. So let me grab your final shares. And I also want to point out that Mandy's on here. We co-authored a book together. It's called Flashpoint. Your turnaround story starts here. 12 incredible stories and the lessons learned. And Mandy, who shows up every day, she shows up. She's in our book. And here's the book. And the hard copy's up for sale now. So I'm going to put the link in there so you can get this book. It's incredible. It's about these incredible stories like Mandy overcoming major things in life to be here and to give. It's once we sort through the mess, we get the message, and we can deliver the message that's going to meet and help other people where they are as we navigate through life, and especially these times that we're in, because they're unique, they're different. They have some themes of past history, right? History repeats itself, but there's also new things, new perceptions, new people, new ideologies, interpretations of older ideologies that are different. So we need to be conscious, we need to be giving, we need to be taking care of our own house. Let me grab your shares. Yeah, the tree. Yes, this tree right here, you mean? Look at this tree coming out of this building here. It's beautiful backdrop here. And there's a farmer's market going on. I'm going to go join the farmer's market. It's been an interesting 24 hours. Last night, I walked like 11 o'clock, I got to walk. I went and walked. And this morning, got up, did my morning ritual, mile run, cold shower, preparing for this, just doing all the things. Let me just grab your shares. We are the leading actor in our story. We can change the script at any time and write our truth indelibly. And that's another great metaphor. If you're the writer of the movie, the director, it's through being conscious, slowing down, pause, asking the right questions that could lend us to different distinctions. Look at the magnificent tree. Okay, a perfect place in history. Yeah. Thank you, Mandy, for that. You should see the dinosaurs at the Royal Tyrrell Museum, the Badlands. Yeah, I'm gonna be making my way around. That this is awesome, Dr. DeMartini. Yes. Just trying to grab your share so before we close out. Deflect emotional charge brings empowerment. Right. A lot of us, we're not conscious. The emotion comes in, it takes over, we're done. We get enraged, we get depressed. This too shall pass. Lisa and I were talking about this last night. She said that, and she could feel what was happening. She said, "This too shall pass," and it is. It's passing. Create space. Think of space, openness. Think of when you contract, you're tight, you're stressed, and then think of the opening. Create that open space you need. You took the long road, but you'll still arrive on time. And that's to you too, my friend. With gratitude, thank you very much. Oops, I'm already getting low on my battery. Oh, it's my daughter's birthday present in 3 weeks. What is your daughter's? It's my daughter's birthday present. What is that? Tell me your daughter's birthday present, please. Yes, take care of your own house. Oh, wait, what are you giving your daughter? I missed it. Please type it in. I want to share that. What you're giving your daughter. Oh, the book. Got it. So Mandy is giving, we got the book here. Got some kitties playing behind me with the dinosaurs. But here's our book. Flashpoint, your turnaround story starts here. You see, for some people, my videos maybe don't look professional, but I try to do a mix of different things because I like to bring you experience, not just a talking head. So I'm working hard on that. I'm going to be working on my full book here in the upcoming months. I've already been working on it, but I decided to make some changes to it that I think are going to add incredible context, history, inspirational people, distinctions that maybe you haven't heard before, and stories that you may have heard 1,000 times, but digging up distinctions that you haven't heard before, specifically the flashpoint. It's almost like in search of flashpoint in history, those key moments that make up things that we remember forever, right? Like Abraham Lincoln saying yesterday, a house divided amongst itself cannot stand. Marked in history, a moment, right? Those moments that make up our lives, the flashpoint moments, the turning points, the pain points, all these different points that make up our lives. But the key is to know that we have a flashpoint in our future. See, a lot of people are walking around destitute, depressed, desperate, and they don't realize that there is a flashpoint, that you can create it. See, these kids know. They're all excited. They're just playing. Your book, yes. Don't sell yourself short. You are a pro and inspiration. That's what counts as meaningful. And that's what we're going to continue to do. And sometimes it's going to look ugly. Sometimes it's going to be amazing. Sometimes it's going to be beautiful. It may get you angry, may get you pissed off, may get you inspired like nothing else you've done before. And that's my intention, is that we inspire you to move forward faster with more effectiveness than ever before, but we also honor all energies, and we know that we need stillness too. You see, it's a plethora, a cornucopia, a myriad of all these different things that play together. Think about the notes of the symphony, all the different instruments that they're tuned and they're constantly calibrated. And even when they're in the middle of things, they're calibrating, they're making adjustments, and it's giving birth, it's evolving. The notes are vibrating the airwaves to hit your ear to make a beautiful sound that you've never heard before. And that's what we're going to do with our lives. That's what we're going to do with Flashpoint. I went a little longer today. I trust it was worth it. Maybe you heard about Maxwell Maltz for the first time and psychocybernetics. Maybe the one thing you're going to walk away with is a question you need to ask and a distillation of a thought that you can plant in your mind. So what I want to say to you today, I want to give you something today. I want you to plant a thought in your mind today. One thought. I want you to write it down. Write it in your journal. Write it on your heart. Write it on your mirror. And as the day unfolds, I want you to keep reading it. And I want you to say, I am moving forward, or whatever the thought is. I am creating. I am living. I am fulfilled. Whatever it is, I want you to write it down. Or you can just plant flowers, not weeds. Just as I was about to hit plant flowers, you typed in not weeds. So you can plant flowers, not weeds. The orchestra is a great teacher when we tune in. But I want you to plant a thought in your mind today. One thought. Please tell me you'll do it. If you're, the dog has a thought. Dogs have one thought. What I want you to do, I want you to type in the number one thought. One thought. Type it in the comments if you're going to do it. If you're on the replay, I want you to do it. You see, here's the thing. Where does life change start? One thought. Where else would you start? You see the value? Do you see the profound and the simple? One thought. Written down, explicitly communicated, indelibly etched, creates the change that you want. The emotions are going to rise. The past programming is going to come in. All the stuff's going to come. Go back to the thought and elevate your emotions as you say this. Feel this. One thought. And if you don't know what that thought is, ask yourself a question and begin to answer the questions. You're planting the seeds of miracles, whether you know it or not. You can do it. I'm going to send you lots of love and blessings today. I'll put the link in for the book so you can buy the hard copy. And Carrie, I'll just share with you that, and whoever else, we're in lieu of doing the full Flashpoint event, July 9th, 10th, and 11th, we are working on an intimate mastermind sort of thing. So rather than presentation mode, which I love doing that, it's going to be more interactive, more like roundtable kind of thing. And we're going to work with the individuals that want to be involved in this. So Carrie, I believe you do. We'll talk. I don't have everything worked out yet. We're going to do a Zoom call and we're going to sort through everything and we're going to co-create. So how's that? So thank you very much for being here today. Love and blessings. If this inspires you and, share it even with one person that needs to hear it. Yeah. And we're doing the mastermind because I just intuitively felt that's what we need to do. And I think it's the right decision. I believe it's going to serve you in a different way because, information's always coming down the pipeline. We can get this, but it's this experience and this through the conversations that we have with each other that really sparks things up. I'm grateful for you too. I'm grateful for you too. Have an awesome Saturday. Write that one thought down. Bye-bye. Blessings.